I used to end every day feeling like I did a lot, but I was getting nowhere. There were lists, goals, notebooks full of plans, but everything felt scattered. And I thought I need to work harder. But honestly, I was just doing too many things at once. But once I cut that list down, like actually down, and chose to focus on one thing, everything got so much lighter. And if you're anything like me, I want to show you how to do the same thing too. Now, I experienced cutting down and focusing on the one way back in high school, even though I didn't know what to call it at the time. If you hear noise, I'm so sorry. My cat is walking around my mic. Okay, he just got off. Regardless, back in high school, I didn't understand what I was doing at the time, but as I reflect back on it, I really used the power of one to my advantage. So during this time, I was in the ninth grade trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm in band, but I'm thinking I want to get into sports too. So I'm looking around basketball. I felt, looking at me, I pretty much should do basketball because I'm black. So I'm like, let me just go ahead and do that. But I wasn't good in the basketball. Track, I was okay, but I kept stopping before the finish line, and that was like a sinful thing to do. So I did track, but I wasn't really too much into it. And I remember my friend coming up to me one day and suggesting I try out soccer. And since I was already on the hunt for some type of sport to do, I said, okay, why not? Went out to try soccer and boom, fell in love with it. Now, the only problem was I was booty, but I was fast. So my coach put me on the defense line, and that was fun. I loved it. But halfway through the season, I started to feel jealous of the offensive players because when they scored, they'd get clapped for. But if I defended the ball, crickets. Like, where's my applause? Where are people coming around and lifting me up? So I want that attention. Yes, I wanted it. I want the fame. I want the glory. So I asked my coach. I said, "Can I be on the offensive? Can I be a forward?" And he told me no. He said, "You suck." I said, "Bet." Well then, by next season, I'm gonna make you eat them words. She's gonna be so good. You're gonna want me. And so when the season ended, I didn't have long. I needed to improve in soccer fast enough that and good enough that my coach would want me as an offensive player. But I was going against girls who've been playing soccer all their lives, and I only had a few months to jump from newbie to advanced player. I didn't know what to do. So I'm thinking, what can I learn? Maybe I can get better at scoring, or maybe I can get better at like reading games. Maybe I can improve how I throw the ball. Like I'm thinking about all these different skills that go into soccer that I can focus on, but not having as much time as I wanted, I told myself, no, I gotta focus on just one thing. What's the most important thing? That if I learn how to do this and I'm the best at this, no one can even touch me. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, what is that? What can I do? What can I do? When a thought came to my head, ball control. Because that's the most important thing. If I can keep the ball and no one can take it from me, it doesn't matter how good I can shoot. It doesn't matter how far I can throw a ball. It doesn't matter how good I can read a game. If I can just keep the ball on me and no one can take it, then technically I could just walk up to the goal and shoot every time and just make it. So that's what I did. I literally, from the moment our season ended up until the start of the new one, all I practiced on every single day was ball control, just going in and out of the cones, juggling the ball, anything to do with ball control, I did. And when it came to the next season, guess what? My coach wanted me as a forward. Why? Because no one could take the ball from me. I surpassed girls who have been playing soccer for years simply because I chose to focus on the one most important thing, put all my energy on that, and boom, I got what I wanted. And consequently, I went on to dominate the season and get a ton of awards that, I won't get too deep into that, but soccer for a second was my life. And that's what happens when you cut down all these different things that you could be focusing on that could give you some improvements, and you just focus on the one most important thing. You get a lot more bang for your buck. And so that's why I'm here to help you do the same thing, to cut down on all these other things you think that are the most important things and just things that need to get done. No, cut all that out and then just focus on the one thing. And that's what, SZA did. The R&B singer, or whatever she would label herself as, the singer SZA. She focuses on singing, like that's it, and making music. You don't see her over there practicing how to shoot a basketball or improving fishing or learning a new language. No, it's singing for her. That is her one thing. And do you know that song Snooze she made? How it goes? No, I can't remember the tune of it, but you know what song I'm talking about. Snooze. Um, do you really nobody like you do? I can lose. You know that song? So I heard this she made that song in 90 minutes. She made that song in 90 minutes and it became an instant hit when it dropped. I'm guessing it made her a ton of money. How? How was she able to spend 90 minutes, make this song, this instant hit, and it's crazy how? Because she spent years focusing on the one thing, music. So it doesn't take long for her to show her mastery because she did the one thing most people don't do. Focus on the one. Most people focus on the many things, but she focused on the one. This is a really important skill for you to develop. People who are masters have mastered one thing. That's it. Kobe. What do we think about Kobe? Basketball. Gordon Ramsay. Cooking. Beyonce. Singing. Why? Because they focused on the one. Mike Tyson. Boxing. They focused on the one. They're masters, and now they're being recognized as the highly accomplished figures because they did what the masters don't. They focused on the one. And there's a reason why only a handful of people know the power of focus and why the masses don't. It's because we're living in a society that doesn't want us to know this stuff. Our society wants us to be easy to control sheep. That's why we aren't taught how to focus on self-mastery and how to think ahead and plan for our future and how to be intentional about the future we want to get. We are taught how to listen to authority, listen to your teacher, listen to someone, anyone who's carrying a clipboard, listen to your boss, but don't listen to you. Don't listen to your command and don't focus on self-mastery. No, don't do that. Instead, listen to authority. We're taught to entertain ourselves endlessly and amuse ourselves to death. When you come out the womb, you're given the iPad and a chicken nugget. And we're taught to be on our phones and to watch TV and to play the game and to just pass time consuming other things. And then we're taught how to spend money. Don't save. Tomorrow isn't promised. Today is here. So you might as well spend your money. Don't save anything. Why? Because if you're spending your money, guess what pockets it's going into? The people who came up with this system that want to profit off of you. Like, we're living in a society, so we're not taught how to focus. And the few people who learn how to focus and use this skill to their advantage, they're the ones thriving in this life. And that's why it's so important that you're watching this video, because you're learning a skill that most people don't have. The skill of focus, and especially on the one thing. If you can spend 10 years on one thing, you're golden. You're good. 10 years. Most people can't even fathom 1 year being spent on one thing. Tony Hawk spent his entire life skateboarding. Can you imagine spending your entire life on the one thing? That's what masters do. That's the people who are intentional about their life, who achieve greatness do. They focus on the one thing. So you have a choice. You can continue going through life distracted like the masses and try to do all these things and wear all these different hats. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say having different hats is wrong. But if you're going to have different hats, at least have seasons of focus to each different hat. But regardless, you can continue being distracted through life and get what the masses get, which is nothing they can call an accomplishment, because how you can accomplish anything if you don't have the ability to focus on what you want to accomplish? You can't. You can do that, or you can choose to improve your focus, figure out what the one thing is that matters to you, and give your energy to that. So how do you do that? Well, first, what matters to you? What do you want to achieve? You have to know that. And for now, just pick the one. Don't say, yo, you know what? Making money matters to me, and writing a book matters to me, and improving my friendships matter to me, and learning how to cook better matters to me, and learning a new language, and learning how to cut. Like, no, don't pick a big list. Pick the one. What is the one most important thing that matters to you right now? When I first started, it was making money. Now it is expression. That is the one thing that matters most to me. Just expressing what is inside of me. And that can take many different shapes, but I'm not going to dive too deep in that. But for you, what matters to you? Is that you improving your health, getting a better body, writing a book, creating content, starting a business, making more money, finding a girl, finding a guy? What is it? Once you know the one thing, ask yourself, whatever it is, how can, well, not how, but what are the 1 to 3 most important behaviors you can do to make the most progress on that one goal? So for me, I know that for right now in the lifetime I'm in the where I'm at in life, expression matters most to me. And so what is the one thing I can do to express myself? Right now it's write. If I would have answered this question a couple months ago, I would have said YouTube. But in this season of my life, it is writing. And so what are the 1 to 3 most important behaviors I can do to just start writing and focusing on the one thing that matters most to me? One, write. That's the one most important behavior. Just write. And this may seem like, okay, this is obvious stuff, but these small things matter when it comes to moving intentional. Like I said, we live in a society that doesn't want us to know this type of stuff. So what I'm saying seems like very simple stuff, but have you sat down and actually thought about it? You haven't. So even though it's simple, this is the things we need to think about. So sit down and think what are the 1 to 3 behaviors. Notice I only said one. You don't need 2 or 3. But if you feel like you really need more, then you have that option. But think about those behaviors. And once you have the behavior, you're going to put it into this formula. I will do behavior at time or event in environment. And then just focus on that plan. So let me go through each element of that plan first, and then I'll go through an example of how I'll use this for writing. And so I know I write every day already, for YouTube and these other things, but more specifically, writing fictional stories. That's something that really matters to me. So I want to put that back into my life, not just writing songs or writing scripts or any of that stuff, but like writing fictional stories, going on adventures. So you're looking at the formula behavior. You already know what that is. We just wrote down the 1 to 3 behaviors. So you just plug in the behaviors you wrote. Time, it's pretty simple. 12 p.m., 1, 4, 7 p.m., whatever. Event is something you're already doing. So like an event could be brushing your teeth. You already brush your teeth. An event could be eating dinner. You already eat dinner. An event could be driving to work. You already drive to work. Hey, my cat. The next thing is environment. That's just the location you're going to be in when you're doing the behavior. So office, kitchen, outside, bathroom, anything. So now that you know the elements and what they mean, let me run you through an example of how I'm going to start writing fictional stories. I will spend 10 minutes writing something fictional at 9 p.m. in my office. That is my plan. So now I know at 9 p.m. I'm going to be writing for 10 minutes in my office. That's as simple as it is. And to make it easy for me to follow this plan and remember it, I'm going to write this down and put this as my wallpaper. So I'll remember that at this time, I'm going to be writing. I'll also set an alarm clock 5 minutes or 15 minutes before it's time for me to start writing. Just these simple things so I can be reminded that this is something I'm going to do. But to make it even more easier, I'm also gonna have my laptop set up. I'm gonna have the aura of my environment set up. I'm gonna have it set up for when I come in, I'm inspired to write. Because that also matters. Just having your environment set up and having things you need in your area already there. So that when I come in at 9 o'clock, I ain't gotta worry about anything. It's already here. All I gotta do is open up my laptop and start writing. So I'm gonna suggest you do the same thing too. Once you figured out your goal is one thing you want to focus on, the behaviors you got to do for that, and you wrote down the plan, put that plan somewhere you'll be able to see daily, consistently, and set up the environment you're going to be in to make it a lot easier for you to get started doing that. And now it's just follow out that plan. That's it. You may be thinking, this is too simple. Okay, like, there should be more. Okay, well, think about this. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 squared is 4. It doesn't matter if you use a simple equation or an advanced equation, you get to the same destination. So yes, this is simple. I made it simple for a reason. Because it will still get you to where you want to go. So you can either choose to take this simple idea and use it and get to where you want to go and find it easy to get there flow through life, or you can find the advanced two square route to make it feel like you're being productive because you're now busy and you're constantly on the run and you're doing all this stuff and keeping up with this complicated scheme just to say, oh, I'm so busy, look at me, and this proves that I'm more valuable as a human being because I'm a busybody. That doesn't do anything. So yes, it's simple, and that's okay. Things don't have to be hard in life, and I'm sorry that you've been sold this lie that things have to be hard. I was sold that same lie. But once you accept that things can be easy, things will be easy. Now let me know in the comments whether you're gonna start focusing on. What is the one thing you're gonna be giving your attention to? Now, for me, having a one thing and having the behaviors and a plan is literally the only reason I'm able to make YouTube videos as consistently as I do, despite having low metrics of like, followers and not followers, but subscribers and likes and comments. Despite having that low amount, I'm still consistently showing up for YouTube. Why? Because I'm literally just following out the plan that I wrote that stemmed from the goal, and then the behaviors came from the goal, and then the plan, like, it's just following that out. It's that simple. Now, if you don't focus on the one and you just keep going in all these different directions, and you don't have a way to make yourself do behaviors, you don't have a plan, you don't move intentional, you won't get much from this life. I'm sorry to say it, because there are forces outside that are trying to drag you down and keep you average. I told you what that is. It's just a society. A society is not wanting to be strong individuals. It wants you to be weak sheep they can control. So if you don't learn how to be intentional, and this is one of the ways you do that, you're gonna be where our society wants you to be, right underneath their thumb. Now, locking your focus in on fewer things is a golden way of being more intentional and just making progress on things that matter more to you. But that alone isn't going to help you, because we are all been conditioned to be on this default mode path of living, which is where you have a job and you wake up a couple hours before work and you're just on your phone scrolling, and then you go to work and you spend 8, 9, 10 hours there, come back home, be tired, watch some TV, scroll on your phone, waste time, go to sleep, repeat that until you have a day off, you relax on your day off, and then go back to work, and that repeats 40, 50 years, and then you're old and you think about your old good days, and all you can think about is you clocking in, clocking out of work, and having a few days off, and then you're dead. That's like the path we're all conditioned to be on. And so unless you can get yourself off that path and be more intentional, it doesn't really matter what you learn, what you do, you're going to be sabotaged along the way. That's why I made a course called Live by Design. It'll be the first thing in my description, which will show you everything you need to stay off this default mode path of living forever. So check that out if you are serious about that. Regardless, if you like this video and you want more, go check out more of my videos, subscribe, put the thumbs up, you know what to do, and I'll see you for the next video.